So I had originally made this piece of content for a different short form video content platform, and since my reel can't be longer than 60 seconds, I couldn't post it here. And when I did this for a different group, I had a lot of great feedback, a lot of questions, and so I know it's going to really help you as well. Here's how I create 90 days of content, persuasive content, in 2 hours. Buckle up, it's gonna be a long one. Quick caveat, persuasive is not the same as convincing. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm here to end suffering for my people who are ready to generate revenue online. Okay, first let's get some coffee.
First step to building a successful 90-day plan and business is for you as the CEO to decide.
Decisions is the single most important thing you can do as a business owner. Here's some of the things you need to decide on. What do you want to help people do? How do you want to end suffering?
We'll start with who's their ideal client, but have you fully asked yourself, what do you want to do? Because you're the CEO, you'll be doing this all day, every day.
Then people will have you focus on your niche. What's your niche? Who's your ideal client? And that can be really challenging for people to really identify. So first identify what's the problem that you want to solve and who has that problem, and go deeper than demographics. And then really get to know the emotional struggles of your ideal client. Your clients don't have to identify as the same gender or be the same age. Likely their commonality will be in the struggle and emotional pain of the problem.
Next step is to go and study them in their environment. Most people will have you survey your audience, but that's like trying to turn on the light with all the cockroaches in the kitchen. Instead, and double down on your message. How specifically are you going to solve this for them? All successful businesses have leads and customers. And in order to consistently generate both of those things, you need a strategy, a system, and support. Inside PT Profit Formula, I help you uncover what the strategy is that's going to work best for you. And inside B Simpson Fitness, we're currently working on an evergreen strategy. And in this strategy, we have to understand the customer journey from going from never hearing of you before and presenting the offer. And knowing this, what we're going to do is break up this customer journey in a 30-day time cycle, and we're going to break it up into 4 phases of runway: interrupt, inspire, invite, and implement. So I spend 10 minutes mapping out where I am in the phases. Then in the rest of the hour, I'm going to do 2 types of market research things. First, I'm going to study my ideal client, find out what is the emotional pull to the content that they're sharing and saving. What's the language that they're using to identify their problem? Then I'm going to go study people who've done this before. Success leaves clues. And inspire hearing what other people talk about. Then I'm going to create the content that makes sense for me. Then I go to these 100 content proven prompts that I have inside of my program and organize it in 30 days of content, persuasive content in 2 hours, part 2. Just a quick recap on what we learned in part 1. Make CEO decisions, deciding on what it is you want to do, who it is you want to serve. Study your ideal client in their environment. Don't be sleazy, but study them. In your studying, also brainstorm all the questions that your current clients ask you. Then study successful people. Success leaves clues. Look in your industry and outside of your industry. Look at the pieces of content that they're creating that you can say in a different way. Decide on the strategy that's going to work best for you in your business, and then we can get to work. We're currently executing the Evergreen Model, understanding the customer journey, going from never hearing of you before, using our content to make a case for the offer. We're breaking it up into 4 phases: interrupt, inspire, invite, and implement. Understanding the 5 persuasive content templates: polarizing piece, friend, how-to, value adds, motivation. Then we go here and we take off our brainstorm and we go to these 100 content prompts. And for me, I flesh out my hooks here on the journal, then organize. Step of the brainstorming, we take our 100 content idea prompts, the ideas from our clients and from our research, and we start to organize it into our buckets, our big pillar buckets of content. Then we create a macro cycle of content. So we're doing 90 days. So we've got 12 right here in my template. I've got 16 weeks. Then we create a micro cycle of content. We're focusing on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and podcast and YouTube. Organize it, flesh it out, and then execute. If you want a more in-depth look at this, you know where to go. Follow for more tips.